So while here now, I want to so I'm sharing my browser, that is the Chrome. So I want to start a new notebook here. Basically, what we've been doing, we said the first thing to do is possibly to name or give it a name. So I can talk about functions. So functions. So I want to talk about a function that you can use in Python, and specifically here on Jupyter, and to be able to create simple and basic programs. You've ever seen like what you have in your phones, the applications you have? Sometimes you see you open an app, it tells you maybe to enter password, enter username, login, and so forth. Or even it even gives you back a message to tell you maybe you have logged in successfully, and so forth. So the background of search is what we just want to see. We are not really going to how now then are you able to have that program running maybe in your computer or in whichever system, but you just want to see how do you manage to come up with such simple programs. And so so let me just start Markdown here. Remember we said that if you want to have a title or a heading, how we do that. So I have be talking about input. So you have such function, input function, that we'll be talking about how you can do that. Then I run that. And then again here, I want to create a program that allows user to enter name. So you enter name, sorry. So you enter let me start all over again. I have a markdown here. So program that allows user to create but enter a name, possibly enter age, the age, enter possibly ID number, okay. Then the program should print out an information about the user. So it is going to create for them, say something like just say, hi, my name is, so it is going to give out a name, whichever name that you have entered. The name is, and then say it is also going to say, and I am So again, here, age, odd, and my national ID number is, so possibly the number that you can just enter like that. So we want to create such a simple program that will enable the user to enter name, age, ID number. Then, so at the end, it is going to give an information, or whatever it is going to print out will be now the details of this person. That you see, my name is this and this, and such. This years old, this is my national ID. So now, so this is, remember, you can see I've selected the markdown here. So it is going to this will just read as a text. You can see there is no formatting in this because it's not a code. It's not a code, it is the markdown. Therefore, if I just run that, then it is just going to give out an information. But now you can see it has selected a code. So here it is where we want to now enter our code that is going to create a very simple program with that nature, or that nature. And so we said that we can use comments inside the code. So we have a comment here. So we can create a variable age. Create a variable age. So the variable age, so you can do that. Let's just do that in the same cell. So I would say age is equals to, then now I have this function now, the input function, where I can say input, then into brackets. So I can define the statement that I want the user to see. So I want the user to see an information, so it will be in the form of a statement or a sentence. And we said that for such characters, which is words, and again, which are separate words, should be contained inside the quotes. So we can instruct the user to, and so before age, we can, let's start with the name. That is what is appearing first. So let's start with just the name. So enter your name, and tell them to enter their name. Yeah. So then again, we create another variable. Create a variable age. Create a variable age. So we can say age is equals to, so again, we instruct this user to enter their age. So we tell them, enter your age, like that. And I'm leaving a space so that you can clearly see where you have the distinction between the statement and what you're entering. Then you also create another, so these are comments. I'm sure you've seen how we do comments. We use the hash. So inside the code, we use the hash to have a comment. So that is basically to describe what is the code is about. So create a variable, and then we talked about variables. So variables are those words that appear before the equal sign. Then we also talked about assignment. So assignment is now where now you use equal sign. So everything else that comes after the equal sign has been assigned to this variable. So we create a variable, we call it the ID number. So I'm just going to use the same ID. So we said when you're using two words at the same time, we try to ensure that they are connected by an underscore, or make sure that the two words are just one. So here again, we are going to tell this user to enter your national ID number. Then you're going to display the number. Now, finally, we want to print out an information now. So at the end, we want to have the statement here. This statement here that you see, my name is this, and I'm this old, and this is my ID number. Okay, so to create that, again, we define what you're supposed to have in quotes. So you've seen hi, the hi, my name is, it's not part of what you have described up there. And therefore we have all that in quotes. So hi, my name is, then at that, so we want the system to just input automatically what was defined as the name. And therefore, we add. So we want to add whatever we have already described, that is the name. We want to add before we can get to now another statement here. We can get to another statement that is going to again include the age. So my name is that, and then you say, and I am. So again, we add the age. You're saying, so we proceed, years old, then comma, and my national ID number is. So again, now we bring in the national ID number. So our ID number is ID underscore, then number, like that. Then we can possibly have a full stop at the end of that information. Therefore, so we want to see that program which now outputs the name, or a place where you can output a name, the age, ID number, then combines that with a statement that can now give the full information regarding this person. So now if we try to run this, so you can just click on run. So you see the first part here, we said name, input, enter your name. And so if you enter your name here, say for example, Rose, then you click on enter. Again, it opens for you where you can put the age. So you can say age 19, and then enter your national ID number. So a person who is aged 19, they already have an ID number. So maybe that is 41, 89. Don't know, I'm just giving values here. 983. Just that, to just indicate that is the national ID number. Then if you press enter, then you can see finally the system outputs that, hi, my name is Rose. We didn't leave a space. And I am, so we can go back a little bit here. Leave some space there. And some space there. So we can run it again. So Rose, who is 19, and ID is 48. That. So hi, my name is Rose, and I'm 19 years old. My national ID number is that. So as simple as that. So now this input function here, it instructs the program that you're creating to create a section where you can enter some information. So now this is the user who is not the programmer. So the programmer creates this program so that every time you prompt that program, the first thing it will ask is you to enter your name, enter your age, okay, then enter your national ID, and then you proceed. Now, which means we can also have a program where if possibly your age is not up to a certain, if it is, and we are going to see that because that is now a different area where we'll be looking at loops. Be looking at loops afterwards, and what we refer to as the if statements. The if statements. And I think part of that is what I shared in the notes that I gave. Where you have even the while and such. So that is just to check if possibly the age is below 18 years, then maybe this person is not qualified to use that program or that application. And so if you enter an age possibly which is less than 19, or I mean 18, then this program is programmed in a way that it gives an information that it will tell you you are not qualified to access that application and so forth. So this is just one of the functions that you can use. So, and this is basically what I wanted to show in the other platform, that is the PyCharm. But because you're not able to access the PyCharm, because PyCharm actually will, it gives you a place where you have the codes. Then there is another part of the console where you see now the output, and you can be able to distinguish between the two, the code area and the console where you get the output. Okay.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can you have similar variables but different values? Something like let's look like I'm imagining that you can have different people.
Different.
We have different variables.
Mm-hmm.
Like for a case that we have different people, but we need the same variables.
Yes. So say, let's even talk. Maybe you are ordering something over the internet. Okay.
Yeah.
and you have various products, isn't it? So maybe the program will instruct you to maybe say you have a product, uh, maybe say buying products the internet. Yeah. So you want the program to have maybe the name of the product. So here we have product. Yeah. So you just instruct your program that because now you know that this is the customer who is accessing this. So you ask them maybe what type of product you want to buy. Okay. So here it is, you just instruct this so that this is the information that the user will see on their end. Okay. So you have what type of product you want to buy. Okay. And then uh, possibly amount. Maybe it is measured in different quantities. So again, input. Uh, so here, just say what quantity or even number or even amount. Okay. And so maybe if the product is available, then here we are saying whatever is being printed out, whatever you print out is now an information to tell you if, and you'll be checking if possibly these are items that you have selected, maybe they are not in that they are not on sale. So we'll be talking about now the if statements where the program now goes through the catalog of products that you have. And if that product that you've stated there is not among them, then maybe it is going to print that product is not available. Okay, it's not available. So depending on or the product, so maybe the product here, you say now there is a name that you will have given your product. So the product is not available, such information. Okay. So you can have whichever variable you like. So you see what type of product do you want to buy? And someone can say they want chocolate. What amount? One can just say maybe 5 of them. Okay. So then the product, so now this is just for me, I'm just printed out uh, this information here. But between the product amount, then before you even go to the printout statement, you can have other codes which are used for checks. So to go back and check, is that product available? If not, then this is the statement that will come out. If yes, then maybe it will tell you to proceed to place your order. Okay. Have I answered?
I was asking the case like we have different people, like something like can look like a mid margin. Are we going to repeat this code?
Something looks like
Like mid margin.
me.
Like we have different people that we
Mhm,
want to put their data here. Like
mhm,
different, we'll have for your case we have used rows. Like we have Samuel.
mhm,
You have several people. Then
mhm.
are we going to repeat this code? or just there is a way that you can just input, then it asks for several names, you just enter once.
Yeah, okay. Now you see, I'm actually referring to a user, okay? Just one person, okay?
Yeah,
So if it is a program, you see the way you use your, you see the way you've been able to log in to Zoom, isn't it?
yeah,
So Zoom asked maybe for, like for my case, so I had to have a username or an email, then a password, okay? So someone else can also be accessing Zoom. So they enter their username, their password, okay? So this, once you roll this as an application, okay, then anyone can use that. So if you have Rose, if you have another one, if you have John, if you have, so here you just want to get the details of the person accessing that program, okay? Then you are saying between the lines where you get now the output, before you get the output, we can also have some checks. So the checks, if it is in a company, you know, a company, there are companies where you have to log in the morning, okay? There are companies where you even go with a fingerprint. So other than now the fingerprint, the others where you have to enter your name. So the system will check, is that name in our database? If it is not in that database, then it is going to tell you user not found. You've ever seen such cases, okay? The user is not found. You get that? But if you have so many names in that database, once you enter your name, and it is inside that, within that database, then it is going to accept. So we are also saying that these are just a basic illustration of a program that you can create that that accepts the name, okay? So even if you have two names, like let me even start, let me run these again. So you have say chocolate and maybe sauce, okay? So you see it is accepting even several names. You see that? You see that?
yeah,
Yes. So now it depends with the checks that you put to that program. Maybe before you enter quantity, there is a check here. So it will check very fast, is that product available? If not, then it is going to maybe give an output that that product is not available. But if it is available, then it will proceed now, how much or what quantity do you want? Then it will check, do these companies sell such product given the quantity that you have stated? And then it will possibly tell you, select a different quantity and such. But we'll come to that later. Those are checks, the loops, if statement, while, and so forth. I hope now I've answered.
yeah.
Any other question? Any other question? So, okay, we can proceed. Then, I don't know if you can see my current screen. Able to see the PDF? or you're still on Jupyter?
Jupyter.
Yes,
You can see
you're on.
Jupyter.
Getting a lot of noise from the background. So you have that input function. It is basically used to create such programs that requires maybe the user to enter some name, just some information about the user. It is the same case. So this is just a very small portion of a program, like the prompts that you see whenever you want to create an email. So it will tell you to enter your first name, your second name, okay? But now at that point, the program has already been finalized, and you have now everything set out for the user to now be able to access. But since we are saying we are not going to up to that level where now we incorporate all the features of a program, we just need to just get these basics at this level. Now, allow me to again point out something. When possibly you want, we have various libraries for in Python. That includes I think I mentioned about some of these, the NumPy, so which is basically to refer to numerical Python. So this one accepts mostly numerics, and it is used maybe in creating what you refer to as arrays. Arrays, someone can talk of matrices and such. So now, how then do you install such libraries? I don't know if you have gotten to the point where you are installing libraries in or just packages in R. But whenever you want to install a package in Python, we use a code that starts with an exclamation mark. We start with an exclamation mark, then PIP, the PIP. I don't know if the notes I shared, they contain that. But this is a command to instruct this code to install from the many libraries. So now you specify what is it that you want to install. And I would say I want to install the library or the package NumPy. So if it is not installed, then the program, once you run the program, it is going to install it for you. But if it already exists, then possibly it will tell you that program is already there and so forth. So now, how do you go about now using NumPy? So I can just say install that, okay? And because it is already here, so it didn't have to do anything. Then for you to be able to, yes, you can see a statement here, the requirement already satisfied. So this has already been saved in site packages. The NumPy, so I'm also using Anaconda 3. So it is a library. The NumPy is a library, and it is already now inside the folder site packages and so forth. So if we also have other libraries like, let's talk of pip install matplotlib. Now this is mathematic protein library. You can see matplotlib. Those three names here. So mathematics protein library, the matplotlib. Again, if you, so this one can say used in protein, can say protein graphing charts and so forth. So if you run that, then the system is going to check so it is reading that wrongly. Okay, so you can see the matplotlib has already been, it's already available, and it uses, so these are just other packages within the matplotlib, which are used to, again, enable the protein of libraries and so forth. So with this now, you can be able to plot. You can be able to plot in a graph. You can plot, say, like the graph of X on Y and so forth. So now, how do you now ensure that the packages that you have installed, you can actually be able to apply them? And so, because you cannot be using the whole of these, the full words, that is the NumPy, the matplotlib, and so forth. So we say, we import now. I'm sure you, so the Python and R, sometimes they correlate in how you do things. So you install a package, then import it. So import it is to now bring it to the current interface, or where now the current directory or work. You see, it is already inside the Anaconda files. So for you to be able to have it now work in your current file, then you have to import it. So you say import NumPy as NP. Again, you observe that the term import and the term as, they are in green. So from my end, I can see they are in green, which means that those are system acceptable syntax. The system reads this as a function to be able to enable whatever that is you're working on. So these ones are already defined, they're inside the system. Then you want to instruct it, instead of just using the whole term NumPy, just use NP and you run that. Then instead of using the matplotlib as the whole of it, so import, again, import the matplotlib as, we can say PLT, that is for the protein. Then again, run that. So now we can define several variables here. Can talk of a variable say, just use a letter. So I can talk of m is equals to, m is equals to. So I want to create an array of these, of some sort of data. So I have m is equals to, so I use the np. So instead of using the whole term numpy, I use np dot. So I want to create an array. And so, and this, my array is actually made of numbers or numerics. So I can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just that. Then you observe that those, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they are in green color, which is the same color as what you have for the brackets. That will tell you that might read that as empty. And let's just see. So if you run that, okay. See, because the array, if the array, we have the brackets, you can see now the brackets here are saying they are in two, they're in red, the brackets. So the array is supposed to take from 1 to 2 positional arguments, but 6 were given. So which means anytime you want to produce an array, so what do you do to enable that to read whatever inside as numerics as you want, as you intend them? So we add another bracket on either side, so that now, and I'm sure you've seen that case where the output that you get is mostly given in brackets, square brackets. So how does that, the system able to read that information? So if I now run this control, and then I can call now, I can print now my variable, that is m. So run that, and you can see now it has printed for me the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. But now what happens if I want to, from this, I can possibly create a matrix out of this. So you can add another cell here, and I want to create a matrix. So you can call it M. I can just call it a matrix. And I say, let me just, I don't want to use all those names. So M1 will be now the NP dot, I want to create a different one, array is equals to, and I use another one then. So say 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. And then I want these to bear the form of a matrix. So we know that a matrix, it has rows and it has columns. Matrix has rows and columns. So now how do we now ensure that we are getting the rows and columns that we have? So again now we say we add comma, and we say reshape, then we open that. So these can be a 2 by 2. So run, sorry. Sorry, it's not defined. not be, should be dot. So like the np dot array. So we have the shape. So how we define this, the reshape, then we have, so let me take that back. So the reshape is to help ensure that whatever you get as the output of the array has been defined. So if you want it to output 2 rows, 2 columns, so depending on how many you want, then you can use the reshape. So just like shaping, shaping of data now, we use the term reshape, which applies in the NP or the NumPy library. It is part of that. But now if you separate that, sorry for using if you separate that, then it is going to give an error. So if I print out now, I want to see the output. So if you print the M1, so you can see we have 0, 1, 0, 1. Why? Because it is reading the first values here, that is 0, 1. It will be the first row, the first 2 values, because you're saying 2 values. So the first 2 values will be for the first row, then the second 2 values will be for the second row. Now, if possibly I want to create a very huge array, so I have np dot array, then I can define as many values. So provided whatever you form, because you see, if I try to, let me just go back here. So say I want to reshape 1, 2. Now the question is, can these actually work out? And let me just try this. Just have them together. So print the M1. So can this actually work? Okay. So it will tell you what? That it cannot reshape of size 4 into the shape 1, 2. 1, 2, because you will not have considered all the elements which are available in that array. So because this 1 element, 2 elements, so those are 3, but you have 4. So you have to ensure that however you read that, so if I read that as 3 and just 1, then will that work? Then let's see. So what is it saying? So it cannot reshape the array of size 4 into shape 3, 1. Why? Now, you see, these are actually 4 values. And you see, these are actually 3 and 1. Those will be 4 values. But then it is going to outline 3. The first row, it is going to have 3 values. So you're going to have, let me like this. So it is going to output first 0, then it's going to output 1, it's going to output 0. Then you're saying that the other one should actually go into the next one. So can you be able to have such matrix? It's not possible to have such a matrix, and therefore it should at least be value such that if you have 5 values here, 5 values or 3 values, then the values that the other values that you get, they have to align to that. So if you have 4 columns or 3 columns, then ensure that all your values, they actually fit into the 4 or the 3 columns. So that is why you see we are not able to get the shape of 3, 1, because you cannot have 3 values. Then the next, you're saying in the next row, it should have put just 1 value. That is not possible. It is not going to be an array. And therefore, it has to be the number that you have here. And for every column that you create, then all those values, they have to fit in. So I was saying I want to create a very huge array here. So 0, 3, just some values here. Like that. Then, so those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of them. Now, what kind of shape can we be able to get from this? Yes? To ensure that they align, the number of rows that you have, the number of columns, the numbers that you have, they can actually align, so that you don't have at some point having nothing in it. What shape can
2,
we have?
5.
You can have
5 by 2.
5 by
2, 5.
2, 5. Okay. So let's see this shape. This shape into 2, 5. Then say print your M2. So let's see. Okay. So now this is what I wanted to see. Now let's create the same array here. Okay. So create another one. Define it differently. 3. And now change this 5, 2. Then print M3. So now this can tell us in which order, because that is, we've just known the shape, but now in what order can that actually be arranged? So when you say 2, 5, then what comes first is so here the 2 represent number of rows. The 2 represent number of rows, and so 5 represent number of columns. And I'm sure you, from your basic, I don't know, basic mathematics, I don't know whether they are matrices, the order of matrices, but you did that. So order of matrices, that is number of rows, the number of columns. So we start with the number of rows. So you can see we have 2 rows here, and then we have 5 columns. So if you interchange that, then you are getting 5 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, and then only 2 columns. So how you write these again is important. The order into which you write these is important, because certainly it is going to give an order which might not be what you intended. So you have to be careful again on that. Now, if possibly, I can still try to add the 2. Now, you know that in matrices, if you are adding, or if you are multiplying, or if you are subtracting, then the order again is important. The order that you arrange your matrices in. So here, if I try to say that M2 I add to M3, what is it going to say? So because the shapes are different, then, and that is actually the order. So you have 2 rows here, but you have 5 rows here. So because of that, you cannot easily be able to add this. Cannot be able to add this. But how come? What happens if you have now arrays which are actually of the same shape? So we have np.array, and you have 3, 8, -2, 9, and so forth. Then we want this to be the shape. We shape this as a 2 by 2. Then you have another one here, M5 is equals to an NP array. So you have 8, -3, 10, and even 0. Then you reshape that to a 2 by 2, like that. Okay. So what you want is we print is we are interested with the addition. So what we print is M4 plus the M5, like that. So if we run that, let's just print everything. We can print so that we can able to see, print the M4, and also print the M5. So you have the first one. Here, you can even define this. You can say, so that you can know which one you are considering. M4 is, so here you have print the M4. And here you're saying this is M5. M5, bring in M5 there. And then now we can print that. So okay, it's only the arrangement here sometimes might be an issue, but you can see M4 is the one 36 -2 9. So 36 -2 9. Then M5 is the one which is 8 -3, 8 -3 10 0. So we know that if you are adding matrices, you add them according to the position of the elements. So if the first one is 3, then 3 plus 8, that is what gives 11. And you can see the last value here is 9. So just 9 plus 0, you see that is 9. The -2 plus 10, that is 8. So you can be able to do a lot more in this. That is in terms of arrays. In terms of any operations, plus again we said if possibly you can see this can be multiplied. We say that we use we do use the operation. So if it is M, the M is M4 multiplied by the M5. Now again, when it comes to matrices, you need to be a little bit careful. Let's just see. because sometimes, especially higher order matrices, sometimes you cannot just multiply them directly like this. In some cases, it might give you a very wrong output. So you remember how you do multiply matrices? Do you? You remember how you multiply matrices? You forgot very soon. That is too soon to forget. Yes, it is too soon. So let me write them a little bit clear. So we are saying we have 3, 6, we have -2, we have 9. That is the first one. Then we are multiplying with 8, -3. We have 10, then 0, like that. I want you to realize what happens. We say that once you are multiplying, so for you to get the first value here, that is 24. So we know that we multiply them, the rows and the columns like this. And therefore, so now we say the 3 times 8, you add that to 6 times 10. As you see, this is actually not equals to 24 because 3 times 8 is the one that is 24 on alone, 24. So what happened to this other part here, which is actually 60? So that is supposed to be 84. So what has happened? So that will tell you that multiplying matrices in this form might cause you some troubles. But what if you so you have this, so what if we say print, now let's see, so M4, then you have that percentage sign there, then multiply by again another sign there, then that is we multiplied M4 and M5. Sorry about that. This should be that's happening. Which screen are you seeing me on now?
Jupyter.
And now? No, still on Jupyter?
Yes.
Yeah. Am I losing this or what is it? You're seeing this? You're still on Jupyter. Yes?
Still on Jupyter.
Yes.
Yes, what?
Still on Jupyter.
Okay. So okay. So now here I was bringing in the so sometimes this might so here I want to get the product or the once you multiply, and I'm saying so when you're using the NumPy or the Python, so whatever I was giving out there was for specifically for R. You're going to see that later. So for Python, again, we are using the NP for so that to refer to the NumPy. So you have to be specific. It is the NumPy, and NumPy contains its own syntax of getting a product or multiplying values. So we say NP, then we use a function dot. So we know that multiplication is simply we know that when you're multiplying, we say we can say M4 dot M5. So or simply M4 M5. But now when it comes to Python, we use the reference that we are using the dot. I know you have used dot in so many instances to imply that you're multiplying two items. So we say NP, then we use this function here, the function dot. Then now you bring in your matrices there. Then now you can say print the product like that. So now if you run that, now you can see this, what we had earlier here, the print, it gave us 24, -18, -20, 0. So what it is doing is that it is only multiplying the values as they are. So we have, it is taking 3, it multiplies that by 8. Then it takes 6, multiplies that by -3. It goes to take -2, multiplies that by 10. It takes 10, 9, multiplied by 0. But that is not how you multiply matrices. That's not how you multiply matrices. Therefore, you can now see clearly when you're using the NumPy to multiply matrices, we have clearly how you multiply matrices. So you take the rows and the columns. So 3 times 8 plus 6 times 10. That is why we are getting the 84, as you can see here. Then if you're taking now the 3 times -3 plus 6 times 0, then you can see that is -9 and so forth. So even as you learn the various operations or operators in these, you have to be careful when it comes to the multiplication of matrices. It uses a different syntax here or function to be able to multiply that. And here, you can see here, inside here, I'm using a comma just to refer to which matrix am I referring to. Okay. So I don't intend to continue. We can have it Unless there is a question. No question.